He left bullet holes, he keeps threatening them. He's after her, specifically, the mom.
My eyes were open, but they were closed. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it made sense in the moment, dude. That is where my geezer thoughts have originated. And all in the meanwhile, I'm getting all this information. It's just overbearing the other side of the bed and everywhere, dude. Where I slept was under a desk. Fuck. What's going on, poor stooges? Holla at me and welcome back to another story time. So I have done this exact thing a couple of times. First was the last part, and I didn't have enough time to keep going as to where I was. And I already did this once before today, but I left so many details out, I was like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm just gonna start over. By the way, look at the shirt. You'll see it in a different video coming after this one. This is going to be a 420 special, going back to 3 Days Chase. I said that I would finish it off. I didn't know when. It's going to be 420. Having it take place on Valentine's Day, and then all the way moved through March for instead of for like a late Valentine's Day special plus a 420 friendly special. I already know I already did one last year, but it's coming up again, alright? Might as well have just had it coming. Alright, you know the drill. Don't be a dyke. Leave a comment, leave a like. Subscribe if you want to be a member of Porch Stooges. Let's get into it. Where we had left off was I had tried the nectar collector for the first time, and it was overbearingly mind-blowing as a first experience. Going down in the basement and just being completely alone in the dark. Was not what I was supposed to do on Nectar Collector, apparently, because I had an out-of-body experience. And I don't mean that as the general idea of out-of-body experience. I went to sleep, and I got out of my body. No, I went in my mind out of my body. My eyes were open, but they were closed. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it made sense in the moment, dude. I saw me zoom out of my body, then I had left the world, and then I left the solar system, the Milky Way. I saw the whole universe before me, and it was in an odd shape. It was like an octagon, but if you mixed that with a football, kind of that oval shape, but a football in particular, because it's got the pointy ends. It looks just like that in particular. But next to the universe, in this weird, odd, octagon-looking stop sign with the football thing going on, I had also seen universes around it with slight differences. Neighboring to this universe is the same exact universe, except there's just the tiniest detail you wouldn't even put your nose on it. Wouldn't even notice it, bat an eye. And the further out you go, the more universes that are around it that have more dramatic differences. Kind of like timelines. It's just displayed out for you in 2D. Now I tried to look around, but I couldn't see behind me. I feel like I was also a 2D dimensional character looking into this 3D. Well, as soon as I kept zooming out of all of these universes, it had all come back into one. And I could see them all in this little thing inside this universe, holding all of these extra universes. And when I went and looked in those ones, I saw the stars and outer space. And when it zoomed out, I could see all of those in that one, and clusters of other universes holding clusters of universes. And it kept going out, and I saw universes of that universe, and in that universe, and in that universe. And all in the meanwhile, I'm getting all this information. It's just overbearingly just going 90 miles per hour, and the further I zoom out, the faster it's going. And I'm getting commentary on it too, how it looks, how it smells, because apparently I can smell this shit. And I'm getting, would it have been possible if blah blah blah? Yeah, sure, in a different universe. And it looked like it was infinitely. But the further I went, something I did notice, there were less universes holding those universes. I got down to about 4. Like this. Right when I started freaking the fuck out. Now, my heart rate had dramatically impaced. Sure, we'll go with that. I started flipping, tripping, and fucking dipping balls on this, and all the commentary and all the information being processed all at the same time. I didn't know what to do. I was freaking out. And I could feel myself vomiting out of response. I don't think my body knew what to do. So as hard as it was to snap myself out of it, because I struggled for a minute trying to get out of this so that way I can pay attention to myself and not vomit here in the basement floor. And I had a thought. There is no bathroom down here. I would have to leave the room I was in, go on the other side of the hallway, up a staircase, back into the laundry room with all the stoner friends, not say anything because I got puke in my mouth, then go all the way past on the other side of the kitchen and find a toilet to puke in. Or If someone's taken that, then I have to go all the way around in the living room, up another staircase into this kinda attic. It's got like 2 bedrooms and a bathroom, and see if that one's taken. I didn't think to puke in the sink, but I did think to puke in the backyard because that would have been closer. But either way, I would have been fucked. And I didn't want to trip up those stairs because, well, I mean, I'm high. It's gonna happen. But the reason I didn't want to do that was because they were made of concrete. So I vomited in my mouth and then swallowed it. And then I vomited in my mouth because it tasted like shit and smelled like shit. I could smell it in my mouth and some of it got in my nostrils. Once again, swallowed it again because I'm not going to be a dickhead and fucking vomit on the floor. Well, on the 3rd time I vomited, I couldn't take it. I just let it fucking go and it fell all over the floor. I felt like a dickhead. And Skates for Life was cleaning it up later. I could have done it, but he was just cleaning it. He said, no, it's fine. Humble motherfucker. But I still felt like nothing short of a complete dweeb. And after that vomit, dude, it kind of just disappeared. Like it never happened. So that is where my geezer thoughts have originated. I've also had some geezer thoughts every once in a while before this occasion, but this is when they really started to come in. Because I was like, I knew that there was other universes and what would be different in there, and I wasn't outside of this body, having that out-of-body experience for long enough to actually experience other dimensions, but I think I was going straight to the source. But I was going backwards, dude. You ever put the car in reverse and just hammer it, alarming speed, right? Well, that's how I feel when I drink and then lay down, close my eyes. But that's also how I felt while that was going on. I think it was going to take me to the source where there was yes and there's no existence. I probably would have been able to observe the other side of existence. If I do wind up going back and doing something like that again, I will let you know what I find. Just like I did this time. If that sounded interesting and you haven't seen my Let Me Try and Explain series, go watch that. It'll blow your nostrils off, and then your mind. I remember mentioning that there was also another thing that the house had building up and feeding off of anger, but I wasn't gonna mention that person yet. First time I stopped over at Skates for Life, I asked why there were holes in the front door and the wall around it. They didn't tell me at first, but with this new threat, the mother of the family had received texts from the guy who left bullet holes, and they were going to enlighten me about it. He left bullet holes, he keeps threatening them. He's after her, specifically, the mom. So we do what any sane person does in this type of situation. We dye our hair. I didn't do it, but Skates for Life had dyed his hair pink, and I've been wanting to kinda dye my hair pink. I actually have a selfie of me with my hair in a little tie like I have now. And one braid that I was gonna do, that one strip for my hair to be pink. I didn't wind up doing it on that day, but later on in life I did dye my hair pink and blue. And it was great, it was amazing, it was nice and I liked it. While Skates for Life is getting his hair dyed, and this is during the day, I know I said it was in a dark room during the night, this is the day after. So I was watching him get his hair dyed, and his girlfriend was dyeing his hair, and he was sitting on the toilet letting it happen, getting it all in, and it's really nice, it feels good on my head. You know, all of a sudden I pass out, just dead. And there was a doorway that I was in, and I could feel it kind of starting to kick in, like really heavily. And it kind of just came over me where I just passed the fuck out. And I remember seeing nothing but green and static and feeling a little light tap on my head and knees. I didn't have any thoughts in my mind, not in English at least. I was pretty much just observing what kind of high I was having. Well, when I snapped out of it, I had seen that my knees were on one side of the doorway that I was stuck in, and my head was on the other side. So I figured out that tapping feeling was me being crushed by the doorway. My knees and head fucking hurt right now, because I fell in the fucker. Later on, we had also decided to go into this motel, Days Inn. We brought the entire squad, man. One person went home. He didn't want to go to Days Inn, he wanted to go home. It was some little kid, dude's friend, whatever. So we took him home. The mother of the family had offered and asked, do I want to go home too? And I was like, no, I mean, if this guy's going to be a threat to you guys, I'm going to back you up. I'm going to stay. Okay? I'm here for you. So I went to Days Inn with them, and the Tweaker Buds went with, Skates for Life went with. Both of the 2 beds from the 2-bedroom were taken by multiple people. People were on the floor, on the space between the beds, and the wall and on the other side of the bed and everywhere, dude. Where I slept was under a desk. There was gunk and shit on the floor, gum on the top, and I did hit my head at least once. If not twice, then at least once. Legitimately exactly my size. Had it have been 1 inch shorter, I would have been trying to cram in there. So they gave me a nice, not a towel, but a blanket right there, and another blanket to throw on top of me so I don't dirty eyes my body and hair. And that's actually where I took that selfie of me and my hair in a ponytail and that one braid. When I went to go and have smoke break, I made sure not to make eye contact with anyone, talk to anyone I didn't know. I was pretty much just not there. I was paranormal. The next day, it was just a family day. They just had to be alone for a little while, go their own way. Now the stoner buds, some of them just went home, some of them stayed to smoke and then go home afterwards. And I had been provided a ride after this. But they found Skates for Life Fire Flower and asked me to ask Skates for Life if they could have some. And I was like, if I'm gonna ask, I might as well ask for myself too. He just said, go ahead and have it all, it's fine. And I'm like, are you sure, dude? All of it? Guy was legit on that, man. He had just got some extra fire flower from some dude. It was like his dad or some other dad or a stepdad or a dad. And he was serious. He was like, no, go ahead, finish it, I don't care. So we were like, all right, bet. We stoned out. And I remember someone was telling a story in the laundry room while we were stoning, and I was hitting the pipe a little bit, took the bowl out of the bong, didn't realize how hot it was because I was too busy listening to a story, so while I'm clearing it out, I'm going, fuck, and I put the bowl back. I put it back. I didn't drop it on the floor like a clumsy fuck. And this bong was nice. It was nice. It had a monster head on it. It looked like a zombie-ish, skeleton-ish little head and shit. When he took me home, I couldn't help but notice that the driving was kind of just cautious. It was like extra precautions. The ride was smooth. It was just slowish and I just noticed that Skates for Life was being extra cautious behind the wheel. So when we got home, I had asked, hey dude, you high too? And he goes, yeah, just a little bit. I'm like, I knew it. When I got home, I watched As Above, So Below, and then when the rock hit the girl and her arm got split open and shit, blood was gushing everywhere. For whatever reason, I had thought that was a corn dog that just got split open in the microwave or something. Like, legit, I was really out of it. Now, I had pains. It wasn't these two fingers, it was on the other hand that's holding the camera. I had pains going in my fingers, and I was wondering where that was coming from. Turns out, the day after, I went outside to go have a cigarette, and I looked at my thumb and my middle finger, even though that's backwards. I had fucking blisters on my fingertips, right there where I was holding the bowl. Hilarious as shit, and I wanted to keep them. I took a picture and I kept it and I saved it. The reason I don't have those blisters on my fingers anymore is because when I rolled around in bed, dude, I must have rolled them off. Like, I knew I was gonna play with them because they were new in my sleep, and they had wound up just being picked off. Unfortunately, I really wanted to keep them. And I was off and on with the pain. Like, I noticed it and it was there and I was like, ow, ow, ow. And then I didn't notice it because I was too busy thinking of something else. I was sleeping, I was watching a movie, I was high, whatever. So it was off again, on again, burn pains from that. And I don't even have a scar to prove it, but I do have a picture. So, ha. I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to comment, share, give me some love, support me, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Jaka.